Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crafty Concepts with Erin. I'm going to create a double page Easter layout for you today featuring the Honey Bunny collection. It's so cute, it's great for spring and of course Easter or even like baby photos. You can really do a lot of different things with this collection. So you can see how this has that spring feel going on, and on the opposite side you have these adorable little bunnies that just make me think of Peter Rabbit, and who doesn't love Peter Rabbit? Aren't they cute? Then we have some nice little subtle patterns here. There's the yellow tones, that's the honey butter color, and then this is the peach, so that's the opposite side of that one. And then a watercolor plaid, and then the butterflies on the opposite side. So again, really nice for spring or Easter. And then the sticker sheet has a few little Easter themed icons on there. This one says hippity hoppity, Easter is on the way, Easter blessings, but really the rest are kind of geared towards spring. So you can just, lots of options here. I did get the workshop option, which has the photo place card holders if you don't have your photos right away, or you can use these for photo mats. There are the little honey bunny dots in coordinating colors, and they're so nice because there's 3 different sizes, which makes them really user friendly. This is the workshop guide that tells you how to put together these 3 layouts if you are wanting to follow those along exactly. It's like following a recipe, makes it so nice and easy. And then the workshop comes with some additional die cuts that you can pop out of the sheet. And then there is additional pattern paper. Love the clouds. So I know it's probably hard to see, but this one has just a really nice kind of wash on there, a little visual texture. This one pops out. There's a circle element there, which is for one of the layout designs. And then cloud paper, which I think is really, really pretty. So many fun different things to create with. And then you also have the cardstock if you want to. Ooh, that just hit the floor. If you want to create those layouts exactly, you can. You have all the cardstock you need. So let me grab my VersaMats here. I've got lots of photos, so definitely a double page for this one. I have 6 photos altogether documenting the egg hunt from a few Easters ago. I've got 3 3x4 photos in landscape mode, and my nephew, and then my son's girlfriend Desiree and her younger sisters, and my boys and one of the neighbor boys, all searching for the eggs. And then there's me kind of stashing them ahead of time, and everybody's lined up there ready to hunt eggs. This one is fun because this is my favorite photo. This is my son Clayton, and he found the golden egg. We call it the golden egg even though it's camouflage, and it's like the big money egg. That's the big prize, and we put it in a camo egg so it blends in, and we make it really hard to find. So it's a lot of fun every year. Everybody tries to find that golden egg. So I do have a sketch design that I've created. Let me grab my paper. This is going to be a frame style layout. This is Glacier. I love this color. And then I've cut down some white DC cardstock to 11.5 by 11.75. So it's going to connect in the middle, giving it a 12 by 24 seamless appearance. So, oops, got to turn that one there. So that gives us a 1/4 inch margin around the outside edges. And what I'm thinking for my photos is something like this. And then we can bring in our pattern papers and go from there. And then these will be in a column like this. I'm thinking I want to use the Honey Bunny scrapbooking stamp for my title. So I went with white daisy cardstock because when you're stamping on the background directly, it does look nice and crisp when you have a lighter color background. You can absolutely stamp on pattern paper or darker colors, but sometimes it doesn't show up as nicely. So I'm thinking about Happy Easter. So that Easter is going to fit very nicely in that section, and we can put happy above it. So I do know I want to go with that for my title. We're going to use these little bunnies for some embellishments, but let's bring in more pattern paper. We have lots of patterns to choose from, and since I want to stamp up here, I'm thinking of just having some strips of pattern paper across the bottom. So the plaid is nice, and this just looks really nice with the photos. The bunnies might be, this is a good opportunity to use the bunnies because it's an Easter layout. Wouldn't those look so sweet on a little baby page too? I can picture it. I don't have any baby photos. Actually, you know what? I probably do, to be honest with you. I didn't have as much time for scrapbooking back then, so I still have a lot of photos that are not scrapbooked from when the boys were little. I really like this yellow. I might go with the yellow on the bottom, and actually this one. I'm going to cut down a couple strips. I'll be right back. I've cut 4 strips, 2 for each side, and these are 2 1/4 by 12. So I think I'm going to put the yellow one. It's a bit more bold, so I'm going to let that be my anchor on the bottom, and then we'll stack this peach pattern on top. Let me bump these out of the way, and I'm going to carry that all the way across like one continuous layout. I also have these stickers from the coordinating sticker sheet that are a row of decorative Easter eggs. These strips are about a 1/2 inch by 12 inch, so I'm going to sneak this in between and layer those up. That's super cute. I actually really like how that is looking. I don't have many photos that lend themselves well to soft pastels or pinks or peaches, so when I have the opportunity to use those colors, I like to go for it just to switch things up. So I want to bring in a row of pattern paper to mat these 3 here. So there's the plaid, and I don't like that one. I've got this one here with the little glacier background and the small little butterflies, and you know what? I like that. The photos really stand out nicely, but just to be sure, let's try the bunnies and see what that looks like. You know, by the time I cut that down, you're not going to see much of the bunnies, so let's go with this one. I've cut this down to 10 1/2 inches by 5, and I will distribute my 3x4 photos in the space. If you had more photos, you could use 3x4 flip flaps to add them here. That would work really well. I've been using charcoal ink rather than black to ink up the edges of these softer colors, and I'm liking the way it looks. So I'll go ahead and get that done really quick. I won't make you watch the entire process. These photos are from Easter of 2022, and my boys are, you know, they're older teenagers, and I have to say I love that they still hunt eggs. That I think it's so fun. I'm not ready to stamp my title, but I do want to bring these images in as sort of a placeholder so I can bring in my embellishments and make sure the design is all going to work together. So we're going to put Happy Easter in this area right up top here. Looking at this layout, I think it needs more of that glacier color, and I think we can accomplish that by matting the photos. So I went ahead and cut a photo mat, and I have had some questions about how I adhere my layers because I usually cut that out. I do use a tape runner here for the larger elements, and I put it in the corners and a nice little strip down the center. This is the Tombow brand. There's other brands out there. Just make sure that it's, you know, acid-free, all the good things for scrapbooking. And, you know, you don't have to go crazy, but you do want to make sure you put enough on that it's going to be secure for the long haul. I did go ahead and pull a bunch of stickers from the sticker sheet. There's these little banner elements. There's quite a few actually, and I love banners. They add just such a fun, playful, whimsical look to a layout. We could go across the center. I like that, but I also am envisioning it kind of going across the corner. So let's pull all of this down to make room for that banner. And I did remove the adhesive from the back of these so I could move them around and try them in different locations. So we'll just loosely place them here for now. Some of you may be looking at this like it feels kind of awkward. These were better on the same visual plane, but what I'm going to do, first of all, I feel like we have a column over here and a column over here, so it's balanced. And then I'm going to have embellishments and my journaling here, so it's going to fill in this space and continue that line across. So I think it's going to work out well. So let's work on the embellishing for now. We're going to do some stamping. I am going to stamp all of my little bunnies at once, so I'm going to use my Misty. You don't have to have that, but it is kind of nice to just do everything at one time. So we will go ahead and place our little bunnies. Now you want to make sure, I've said this before, but make sure you have enough space around the rabbits to accommodate the coordinating dies. So you just want to kind of spread them out to make sure that there's plenty of room. That looks pretty good. You can tell I've already used these because they have some staining there, but that doesn't hurt them at all. Make sure your paper is in the corner, and we're going to use intense black ink because I am coloring these in. I know the black inks are a little bit confusing because, you know, you're thinking, why do you need so many different black inks? But for coloring with alcohol markers, this is the one I use. And it does take a little bit to dry, just a couple minutes to dry, and then the markers won't activate the ink. So if you hit the lines, it'll stay nice and crisp. Hopefully that's making sense. Other inks will bleed when you color them with the alcohol markers if they're not alcohol marker friendly. Well, we didn't get that bunny, so we can stamp up the outside edge and make sure we get all of those little cute little bunny paws there. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to set this aside to dry for just a moment. I'm going to, here, let me move this out of the way. I'm going to color in just one of the bunnies for you because I'm going to do all three the same way. I have brown gray blend. These are the Spectrum Noir TriBlends that have a light, medium, and dark. And then I have the pale pink I'll add to the bunny's ears and maybe the nose and cheek there. Now, I always kind of give this little disclaimer. I'm not an expert colorer, but you know what? I've learned a lot and I've come a long way, and these markers make it really easy, but I like to start with the dark. And you're going to put your shadows so the light is coming in at the bunny's face, right? He's looking into the light. So the shadows are going to be on the back side of the bunny and also anywhere a body part overlaps. So I put the dark color under his arm, where his arm kind of meets his abdomen. That's going to create a shadow. So hopefully those tips will help you. And you do want to work quickly. I've obviously sped this up quite a bit, but marker blends better when it's wet. So you want to work in small areas. Now this is a small image, but I've started with the dark and I've moved to the medium. I'm going over the dark, kind of continuing that out a little further, and then I'll switch to the light. Now I want to give this little bunny a white blaze on his face and on his belly. So I just kind of stopped short of those areas. And you can always go back in and add more shadows. So once I've got this colored, I can, switch back and forth between the medium and the dark and darken up certain areas. So here I'm using the medium to kind of reinforce those shadows. You also want a very smooth paper. That makes a big difference. So let's add a little bit of pink to the inside of his ears, his cheek, and his little nose. I'll go with the medium there to give it a little shadowing. And there. Doesn't he look cute? I'll get the rest done off camera. I colored the remaining bunnies and then went ahead and die cut them. So now we have 3 cute little guys to decorate our layout. I also have this stamp. It's called Garden Eggs. It does come with one thin cut that cuts out the different Easter eggs, and there's different designs. I've got a couple left over from making a bunch of cards. So these are flamingo on ballerina cardstock, but I think that even though it's not quite the same, I think if we kind of separate it a little bit, I think we can get away with those colors, because they kind of look like the colors in that banner there. I showed these in my catalog walkthrough, but just in case you missed that video, I thought I'd share them one more time. So here's a card, a slimline card I made with those eggs, and I just think they're so pretty. The little bunny was colored with colored pencil there, so that's another option. This is a white background. It's a white daisy cardstock stamped with flamingo ink. And I am going to do a tutorial very soon, I promise, to show exactly how I made these using the digital SVGs. There's a, the flamingo on white, flamingo on ballerina. And then here is a little bit more elegant style, if you will. It's as simple, but there's so much detail with that embossed background. So I just made the egg the focal point of these cards, and I think they're so pretty. But yeah, since I have some of these left over, I think they'd look great on the Easter layout, and I love that you can make them any color you want, depending on where, I want to kind of draw some of this pink up to the top here. We've got it down here in the strips, we've got it up here, so I want to kind of work on that visual triangle and bring some of that to the top. Looking at those cards reminded me I still had a few of these left over, and I'm thinking this might be fun to kind of put down on the layout, or maybe even up here underneath the title. And then we can maybe put a bunny sitting up in the grass looking into the layout. I like that. I think that's going to be fun. And then, I'm thinking, so we've got a cluster up here. I think that maybe something down here, and then we'll draw your eye back up by creating a cluster here. And that leaves this area for my journaling. So yeah, that's going to work out. So anytime I put, add some type of element, I like to add just a little bit elsewhere. So we might cut this and add a little bit down over here. This little bunny maybe could be frolicking into the grass. And then since we don't have a lot of room up here, maybe we'll put the smallest bunny in this area and kind of create a little cluster. I want to bring in some stickers from the sticker sheet too. So let's take a look at those. I found 3 stickers. They say "Gone hunting, all smiles and Easter eggs." So this little bunny here needs something to sit on. I don't want him kind of floating. So this will give him a little anchoring spot. And I think that looks pretty good. That's a nice little cluster. So we'll nestle those together there. And then I have these word stickers, which I love. We could put one there. The yellow's not showing up very much against the yellow paper, so that might look better up top. We can kind of stagger these. I don't know. Let's set those aside for now. The Honey Bunny scrapbooking stamp has this sentiment that says hopping down the bunny trail. So I stamped it and cut it out with a circle die. I think that's going to fit that space nicely. We can go ahead and trim this down. So right about there. I'll use that for another project. I'm going to tuck this underneath the pattern paper, but then the flowers will go over the circle and over the bunny. I stamped that sentiment a second time in limeade ink, and this is such a fun technique to do with your stamps. You can kind of piece them together and layer them to get different colors and different looks. I'm only trimming down the little banner that says "down the," and then we will layer this piece over the original stamped image, and we get different colors. So I'll just sit right over the top there, and that's going to look really cute. I do like to use glue for these tinier pieces. I recommend having a pair of tweezers, and then I like the Barely Art glue. I also use Tombow glue. I do have those for larger elements, but I love the fine tip nozzle on the Barely Art glue. So we'll just kind of slide that into place there, and yeah, that looks really cute. Now this stamp set has a coordinating die for the word Easter, so just to play it safe, I did stamp that in glacier ink and use the die to cut that out, and it's just going to kind of disappear and give the look that it's stamped onto the background. But for the word happy, I am going to put that right onto my layout directly. I know this scares a lot of you, especially because everything's adhered down, but there's a few things you can do to ensure success. Rub it on your hand, rub it with an eraser. That is seasoning it, so that'll help it take up the ink better. Use the back side of your VersaMat for the foam cushion. Practice, practice, practice several times until you're getting a crisp image every time. And if you don't have a VersaMat, you can use the foam insert that Close to My Heart includes with all of their stamps. So it kind of has the same principle. The VersaMat's nice because you have, the whole layout is covered. See, that turned out great. Success. I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape to some of my bunnies. Now there's regular foam tape or thin 3D foam tape, but I like to cut it to size with my non-stick microchip scissors, and that's how I like to adhere my little embellishments. Some I will adhere directly to the layout. Now this one I'm going to use tape runner because it's a larger element, so I have plenty of room to get my tape runner on. And then I will, as I mentioned, stick some of them directly to the layout. So the bunny and the egg are going to go flat. And then this little sticker that says "Going Hunting," I'm popping that up on foam tape. Now, I was looking at the plaid paper. I have this piece from the other side of our butterflies, and I thought maybe it would look good to mat these 2 photos across the center. So I cut one photo mat, and I do like that. We have this little piece from the workshop that we could kind of bring that over to the left-hand side. But, I'm thinking it maybe needs to be completely matted. I've got more paper here so you can see how it looks. Oh, here comes Dave. Is he going to pass on through? Nope, he's going to get comfortable, and down he goes. I'm going to go ahead and get this trimmed down. Often for my photo mats, I will take a decorative shape and die cut out the center because you're never going to see that. And now you have this cute little embellishment for a future project, either cards or scrapbook layouts. And on this one, I use my Stitch Fancy bracket. This is something I do often, but I don't always show it on my channel. So I wanted to share that little tip with you. Let's go ahead and adhere this down. So you can see I kind of do the edges, one down the middle, and then secure that into place there. I'm really liking the addition of this plaid paper. I think it's kind of filling in that white space and making it more interesting. I would love to hear about your Easter traditions. It's coming up around the corner. So we always host because we have this great big lawn area perfect for hunting eggs. But we celebrate our barbecue and our family gathering on Saturday so that we can all go to church on Sunday. And it works out really well for everyone. Now I still have these little dots. I'm counting out how many I'm going to need because I thought it'd look cute to span or connect the little banner with these dots. I'm using all of the limeade green color ones, and then I'll add a few throughout the other embellishment clusters also. I went ahead and typed up my journaling, printed it on white DZ cardstock, and cut it into strips, which you'll see here in just a moment. I've added it below my son's photo, just kind of sharing the story and the details, but how cute is that title? I love it. It looks so good with all the different layers. And then there's our cute little bunny and our stamped hopping down the bunny trail. And of course, I added some enamel dots up in that cluster there. You can find everything I used in the description box below. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment and I can help you find those items. I will have still shots over on my Pinterest, Facebook, and Instagram accounts. You could check that out there. Thank you so much for watching. You guys know what to do. Hit that like button. And I look forward to talking with you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.